How did you find your best friend? We were babies. Our moms were friends and lived in the same building and met for a coffee from time to time. We were born 7 months apart, but the day her mom came home from the hospital, my mom visited hers to see the newborn, and, as I was told, we laid on a cover together, and after 10 minutes I was hugging her and she fell asleep. Best friends for 21 years now. Love you, Jilla. I don't got one. I hated her in 7th grade. I can't even tell you why. We almost got in a fight once. Then one day, we had to sit next to each other, same last name, and we ended up talking best friends since almost 15 years later. Had a college chemistry class together. We initially bonded over how ridiculous our instructor was, and it was off and running from there. I dated one of their best guy friends at the time, and had become close friends with her other 2 best friends. We often laugh about how we met. My best friend hated me and I was only ever kind to her, and then she grew to like me as she was forced to be around me more. It always makes us laugh telling people how we met. We have been best friends for over 10 years. In college summer classes we become friends. I no need my best friend anymore. My childhood best friend and neighbor and I went to the same college, but she was my junior and different major. Her classmate and good friend used to hang out with us at college or on weekends and join our sleepovers. After college, my neighbor met a guy and wanted to get married ASAP. She sort of pulled away from us, and the college friend and I were very confused and hurt. We still decided to support her and give her the space, but she kept moving away and also said hurtful things about our decision to not get married young. College friend and I started hanging out more and discovered we also had a lot more in common in interests and ideology. 10 years later, we are still not married, thriving in our careers, supported each other through hardships, breakup, family drama, and more, are closer than ever and have a healthy friendship. Neighbor friend eventually came back, but the friendship isn't the same anymore since she has moved to a different city. She has a cute daughter whom we adore and dote on, but we don't meet that often. On an elevator in college freshman year, back in 1985. The teacher made this girl introduce me to her friends in 6th grade. My best friend was one of them. I immediately thought she was the coolest person, and we hit it off right away. Depends on which one. My male best friend I met in elementary school. My best friend at the time introduced us, and I thought he was going to steal her away from me. A little less than 20 years later, we're closer than I ever thought we would be back then. I have 2 female best friends as well. The first, I met in 6th grade. Our science teacher sat us next to each other, and I thought she was so cool that I wanted to be her friend. It took me 3 weeks to muster up the courage to actually talk to her. Over 10 years later, and she's still one of my best friends. The other I met in high school. It took some time, but we got closer as we went through school. We've always been able to rely on each other and we're a lot alike in personality, though we do have our differences. I don't know where I'd be without her. These 3 are absolute rocks in my lives and I don't know what I would do without them. High school marching band. A mutual friend introduced us our first year, and we've been best friends for almost 25 years. I've had 3 very brief best friends. I met one in school, knew another as an infant, and met the third in my neighborhood. I remember in 4th grade my and another kid's moms got together and tried to engineer a friendship between us. We got together once and never hung out again. The next day, I met a different kid during lunch and we are friends to this day. All of them through school. The most absurd in my eyes is that one guy on one floor of my dorm who we just kind of got along, and then me being alone for a long time and meeting some random people he knew led to me living with them and now still friends with almost all of them over a decade later. And these are just my friends for life. Yeah, that's how making friends goes, but it all just feels so random. Martial arts. I found a lot of friends that way. Okay, Cupid. Spanish class 10th grade best person I've ever known. She was from California. I was outsider in Louisiana. She now lives in another country. I miss her. Made love to my former best friend, his mom. It's only been 7 months, but we've quickly become besties since he's come into the world. I've been very fortunate to have my best friend who we met in preschool together. We have supported each other through so much. I consider him my brother.